What's going on, good people? Welcome to College Football Final Week 9 Times After Effects Show, episode 101. Y'all know how we do. Let's just dive right into it. So first, on the 12 p.m. slate, we got number 8, Ole Miss versus number 13, Oklahoma. Ole Miss was able to eke out with that win 34-26. And for my notes, Ole Miss actually outscored Oklahoma 9-0 in the fourth quarter. I thought Ole Miss really came to play. Lane Kiffin had those guys ready to go. Quarterback Trinidad Shameless went 24 for 44, 315 yards, 1 touchdown, and also had 12 carries for 53 yards. I don't think he had any rushing touchdowns, but he had 1 passing. So Trinidad definitely came to play. On the other side, Oklahoma's quarterback John Mateer went 17 for 31, 223 yards and 1 touchdown. I believe the commentator said that this was Ole Miss's first road win versus a ranked SEC team. So shout out to Ole Miss, man. They lost a tough game last week, and they were able to come back, strike back, and play hard. Ole Miss wide receiver Winston Watkins had 4 receptions for 111 yards, 27.8 yards per catch. So he was running, he was moving, and he was very explosive during the day. I really thought that Trinidad Shameless played complimentary football. Shout out to the Ole Miss offensive coordinator. He really played to his strengths, throwing for 315 yards and rushing for 53 yards. Like I said, Ole Miss really came to play. Very interested to see how they continue to develop and find their rhythm as the latter part of the season starts. Next game, we got on the slate. We're gonna just really quickly talk about this one. Last week, I kind of alluded to, how could Indiana play as a number 2 team, right? And they came into week 9 and demolished UCLA. Now remember, UCLA was on a 3-game winning streak, right? They were 0-4, and now they came into the game 3-4. Indiana was able to demolish them 56-6. Quarterback Fernando Mendoza went for 168 yards, 15 out of 22. I really felt like Indiana really just dominated UCLA in all 3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams. And, shout out to Kirk Hignady. He really has those guys playing well. Like I said, the latter part of the season is about to start. And can Indiana continue to go 1-0 and really solidify themselves as the number 2 team in the country? And the number 2 team in the Big Ten, right behind Ohio State, literally. So shout out to Indiana. Shout out to the Big Ten. Next on the 3:30 slot, we got 2 massive games. We had number 15 Missouri at number 10 Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was able to pull out the win 17-10. Quarterback Diego Pavia went 10 for 19, 129 yards and 1 touchdown. I already thought this was a defensive game. It was 3-3 a lot of the time, and then 10-10 a lot of the time, and then Vanderbilt was able to scored the go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter. But massive defensive game. Looks like, and even the Hail Mary, for the last play, Missouri starting quarterback went out with an injury. Their backup came in and played well, moved the chains, and kept Missouri in the game. And the last play, the Hail Mary, they came up 1 yard short. The wide receiver actually caught the ball, right? After you looked at several of those replays, he caught the ball, but, he was like a few inches short. So that could have obviously changed the trajectory of the game, and that would have tied the game up and possibly went to overtime, unless Missouri wanted to, go for 2. So I thought Missouri, really competed hard, and that was a very good top 15 matchup for sure. Next 3:30 game on the slot, we had number 4 Alabama at South Carolina. Not sure what the favorite was, but I don't think anyone thought the score would be 29-22. Alabama was able to pull out the win 29-22, but I would say, it was a nail biter. Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson went 24 for 43, 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. That gives him 18 touchdowns versus 1 interception for the season. He continues to make a strong case, to be a Heisman candidate this season. Like I've said, week after week after week, Ty Simpson, Alabama, just continues to figure out how to win games. It's not always pretty. It's not always sexy, but he continues to figure out how to win games, right? On the other side, South Carolina quarterback Lenore Sellers returned. He went 18 for 32, 222 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also carried the ball 18 times for 67 yards and 1 touchdown. Lenore Sellers, when he's healthy, he continues to be dominant at the quarterback position and really kind of, puts his team in a position to win. South Carolina isn't having the best season I think because of his injury, I can't remember which game that was that he got hurt. So he's kind of been in and out of the lineup. But another guy that also stood out to me at South Carolina was Dean Cassius Howell. He had 2 sacks in the game, 6'2", 248, kind of like a tweener guy. Sometimes has his hand in the dirt, sometimes stands up, sometimes drops. But I thought he played very well in the pass rush game, and that's another pass rush guy to look out for. All right, so yeah, I mean, shout out to Alabama, Roll Tide. I mean, they just continue to find ways to win games. They are 7-1 now on that last stretch of the SEC conference. I think they have 4 games in November, so let's keep a close eye view on Alabama. And then last game we got on the docket, the 7:30 game. We had number 3 Texas A&M versus number 20 LSU. Texas A&M absolutely went into Baton Rouge and clobbered LSU 49-25. I guess I just have one question. Why haven't I talked about Texas A&M as much as I should have? Right? I mean, super explosive offense, plays really hard in all 3 phases. But head coach Mike Elko really got those guys humming, playing well, playing as a team, playing together with some cohesion. A&M quarterback Marcel Reed went 12 for 21, 202 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He also ran the ball for 13 carries, 108 yards and 2 touchdowns with an 8.3 yard per carry average. Marcel Reed, I thought last night versus a top 20 LSU team, he really put out a strong case for him as well to be a Heisman candidate. I mean, with his legs, with his arm, he did throw 2 interceptions, so he'll have to work on that. As the games get bigger and the stakes get higher, he'll have to cut down on his interceptions. But that gives him 17 touchdowns and 6 interceptions on the season. Looks like Texas A&M has a bye week next week, and then they had number 15 Missouri on November 8th, and then number 22 Texas on November 28th. So November is going to be a massive month for Texas A&M to see if they can stay undefeated. Right now they're 8-0, and they still have 2 out of 4 games versus some solid ranked teams. Right, not sure if they're those ranked teams, if they have them on the road or if they have them at home. But and shout out to Texas A&M, they're playing really, really good football. I feel like kind of going under the radar for some bizarre reason. I just hadn't really been talking about Texas A&M in the previous episodes, but definitely got to keep an eye out on them. Like I said before, head coach Mike Elko has those guys really coming to play in all 3 phases. So Ohio State had a bye, but Indiana came to play. Texas A&M came to play. We had a great week 9 of college football. And those are all the games I have for this episode. So what would we say is the after effect of week 9, right? I would definitely go to Ole Miss. They were able to get a strong win on the road versus a very good SEC Oklahoma team. Lane Kiffin kind of struggled in that area, but he was able to keep his guys focused at Ole Miss, and they were able to get that road win. I would say number 10 Vanderbilt. I don't think anybody expected them to be a top 10 team this season at the beginning of the season, but they just continue to play well. Diego Pavia continues to lead those guys, and yeah, Vanderbilt continues just to get wins in that win column. I obviously got to talk about Alabama. Like I've been saying these last couple of weeks, they just continue to figure out ways to win games. I don't think anyone thought this game would be that close, tied 22-22 with less than 2 minutes to go, but Alabama was able to figure that out and get the win. So I would say that's the after effect. We got a few massive games for week 10. So yeah, if you are watching this episode on YouTube, please subscribe to LeBron Daniel TV and turn your notifications on. If you are listening to this episode, please subscribe to the After Effects show. We will continue to drop the college football final every week of the college football season. November football is very exciting. So I expect for the November episodes to be just a little longer as we take a real deep dive, and then we'll have championship Saturday after the last week of the season, typically that first week of December, and then the bowl selection and the playoff selection and everything like that. So looking forward to some great college football in November and December leading into 2026. So I'll see you guys next week. Peace.